Nico Hulkenberg, welcome back to Fog Racing 239 Grand Prix it took, but Nico Hulkenberg got a podium. Welcome back to the channel. I've said it twice, but you know what? For so long, Nico Hulkenberg was on to rice. He kept getting screwed and screwed and screwed. To me, what are the races that stand out? I mean, it's the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix. I mean, he literally could have won that. Who knows what would have happened if him and Hamilton didn't take each other out? We could have been looking at a three-time world champion Fernando Alonso. I mean, if Hulkenberg wins that, what does that do for his career trajectory? Who really knows what would have happened that day? But regardless, he got it today, and you know what? Did the weather help? Aye. But he literally won this on merit. He beat Lewis Hamilton toe to toe in a Sauber versus a Ferrari. But before we get to that, let's talk about the actual start. So, yeah, Max led from Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, and a few other guys. Right, I do not understand the strategy from about five or six of the grid. So at the start, you had Russell, Leclerc, I think Berman, Hadjar, Lawson. I think they were the six. They put it for slicks at the end. The six, and they put it for slicks. Yeah, they put it at the end of the formation lap, and you're thinking, right, that final sector looks absolutely ringing. Why would Ferrari? I mean, Mercedes were starting fourth. Leclerc was sixth. I just see today. It's almost like if you want McLaren out the top four teams, you forgot how to do strategy today. Honestly, horrific. I mean, a team that I think actually did it pretty well was, well, I was going to say Aston Martin. I don't think they didn't do it for Alonso, but they did it for Lance Stroll. And Lance Stroll, for whatever reason, um, stayed it a bit longer, then pit it for softs, at which point he just absolutely picked his way through the field and then pit it for inters at the perfect time again, and then got up to P3. Did Lance Stroll in the end, but obviously there was a lot of crashes in this Grand Prix. I mean, let's talk about the first couple. So, Colapinto coming at the end of the first lap, good night. Lawson and Ocon hit each other, good night. Gabriel Bortoleto, he crashed out. Another one, good night. Then you had like the safety car come out due to the wet weather. I'm sick of this, man. Why is the safety car coming out due to the wet weather? It's embarrassing. It's wet tire weather. Hamilton's coming over the radio, turned around saying, "I think it's time for wets." Oh, we have to safety car it. We have to red flag it. The reason why they can't keep the car on the track is because it's full wet conditions, folks, and they can't move the amount of water that a wet tire can use. It's an absolute mess. But because the intermediate is faster, people stay on it. They need to create a wet tire that is obviously slower than the Inter, but is much better and becomes faster than the Inter when the conditions are too heavy. But for whatever reason, they just can't seem to do that. Hadjar, after the safety car restart in lap 17, went straight into the back of Kimi Antonelli. Max Verstappen almost got brake tested by Oscar Piastri. He spun round. Piastri got a 10-second time penalty. That pretty much got Norris the win. Kimi Antonelli then had to retire. Yuki Tsunoda hit the side of someone. I think it was Berman. The two Hasses hit each other. Leclerc in 14th. And then I don't understand it, man. Then towards like the end of this race, Aston Martin are like, right, we'll bring you in, Alonso. It was about lap 40. And the track was nowhere near dry enough, but it's almost like, because Alonso was like earlier in the race, why are we always on the wrong end of wrong end of these races? Why are we always making the wrong decisions? And then Aston Martin like, oh, we'll bring you in. They brought him at the wrong time, because, I mean, yes, Alonso was behind um everybody. He beat Russell with strategy, but he got beat by Albon and Verstappen. Would Verstappen have beaten him anyway? Probably. But just a bit of a mess all around from Aston Martin, man. I just do not understand it. And it actually appeared to me that the best strategy in this race towards the end was actually pit for inters as late as possible, because no one could get them up to temperature because the track was still too damp. And we seen that Lewis Hamilton was all over the back of Hulkenberg. Pitted. Then when Hulkenberg pitted the next lap, Hulkenberg was 8 seconds clear of Hamilton. And I tell you what, as disastrous as I think it was for like Russell and Alonso, fair play to both of them for actually finishing ninth and 10th, because you seen how guys were struggling like 4 or 5 laps even after they'd pitted. So I do not know how Alonso and Russell have scored points in this race, but they did. Albon was 8th, Stroll, absolute shocker, Rooney, man. Guys finished 7th, and I genuinely wonder how. I mean, look at the favoured strategy that this guy got pretty much every single time, and he's ended up 7th behind like Gasly. Mental. But Nico Hulkenberg finishing P3, that is the drive of the season for me. Like, Hulkenberg cleared Stroll, Hamilton cleared Stroll really quick, and then for about like the last 20 laps, Nico Hulkenberg's kept Lewis Hamilton at bay. Insane. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. As for at the front, Norris and Piastri. Piastri did radio over the team radio and say that penalty wasn't fair. How about we swap positions? It was never going to happen. Um, but anyway, that's where we'll leave it, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. British Grand Prix. It was good, but it did lack like a proper battle for the lead, didn't it? Towards the end, and that's what's all. I think that's what separates a fantastic race from a great one.